What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another update in the fish room. In this video I want to give you guys an update mainly on the shrimp and what's going on. So let's start off with the quarantine tank shrimp. So I did split out the shrimp. So the yellow ones are over here. This one's finally cycled. We got the Wabicusa going. It's starting to grow a little bit. Lost the stems over here. And then we have some new leaves in the back there. I'll probably, it's not really an update specifically on the Wabicusa, but the tank here has the shrimp. So these guys are looking like they're doing pretty good. So we'll, quarantine these guys for probably, over winter, probably into next year. They'll probably breed, and if I don't see any breeding, I'll probably end up adding males in there, because I noticed that when you buy shrimp from sellers or whatever, in order to get the colors really nice, they often sell you more females than males. Of course, a lot of people go for the colors, and the females, of course, are the prettier of the two. The neons over here, I actually added in the these two plecos in here, and this is supposed to be like a male and a female. I don't know if they're gonna breed or not, but I put a little cave in here to see if they're gonna breed. That's the male there. He's just sticking his head out. The female's back there. Yeah, so we'll see if they breed. But the neon yellows, main tank, nothing really going on here. The cold tank, generally the cold tank will be pretty heavily stocked, but again, like towards the end of the year, I try to like sell as much off as possible, and then that way in the winter months they'll breed and they'll repopulate for next year. So let's talk about the main colony. So the main colony, we had some sort of an ammonia spike where multiple shrimp started dying, and then slowly it kind of triggered a chain reaction where a bunch of shrimp just died. And unfortunately I lost, I would say more than 50% of the colony. A lot of good shrimps, and luckily I had some spare tanks where I was keeping other painted fire reds in, and I added them into this tank. And I was like, man, I don't see the color that I used to, especially, a lot of the other ones I had extras of, or, from call tanks and whatnot. So I was just like, man, I'm kind of bummed, because I was working on this strain for at least a couple years, and I lost half of the tank just from a ammonia spike, right? And I completely forgot about this, but when I was setting up my dad's guppy tank, I added in some painted fire red into his tank. And when I was over there the other day, I noticed that his colony just took off. It had some really nice ones, and here are some example ones here. So it literally was my original colony, and basically in his setup. So I took maybe 20 or 30 of them, and I put them back in this tank. So hopefully, we'll get that colony going in. So a lot of what he had in his tank was from my original tank here. It was this nice solid red ones. Yeah, so here are some more examples of the painted fire reds that I had from my dad's tank. Moved over here. I'm trying to entice them with some food here, and hopefully they're gonna go there, but there's some food that kind of dropped off of the little dish there, so they're eating outside, but more will come eventually. But like I said, we're trying to reestablish this colony, so over the winter months, hopefully we can kind of just double in size, get some of the red again, and then just start culling the ones that initially we had in here just to try to bounce back the colony. I know that they weren't the best painted fire reds, but we had to work with something. But like I said, my dad has a really original strain that I had, so it's just pure luck that I had introduced him to his tank, and then my tank crashed, and then we're able to bring them back here. So I'm happy that we at least have the original strain that I've been working on. And a lot of them, like I said, they look like this over here, the super red one. There's one that's coming up over here. Let me try to get him. There's one that's coming over here that's a female that's really nice. Let's see, I'm gonna try to get her in the frame here. All right, so there we go. So that one's slowly working. She's working over there. She's coming over to the food, but that's another nice one. So I have a bunch of those colored ones in this tank, so I'm hoping to get more of those solid red ones. So this tank has a ton of females. I have probably, I want to say half of the tank is females, and then the other quarter or so is probably males. And I actually found some really nice male ones too. and hopefully they're going to breed nicely. But most of the males are probably like one or two grades lower than the female, so they're probably like fire red, probably more like even lower than that. But I've been trying to breed where you get some really like high quality males, because you know, if we can get some high quality males and high quality females, you're almost guaranteed to get always like super red ones. But because we have like a mix of lower grade males, we're going to have a mix of grades in the colony. The only thing we really can do is just cull them, just kind of take out the dull ones and slowly just work with what we have. So yeah, so that's what I have to do. I just have to keep up with the culling and just kind of remove a lot of the duller ones so that they don't breed and get like kind of a mix, you know? And you kind of saw some of the examples, the ones that I really want, the super red ones. And the ones I bought from other people to try to restart my colony, you know, they're not even close to like even like my lower grade ones, right? Like a lot of these I would just cull, to be honest. Like this one's decent, this one's okay, I would probably keep her. But a lot of them are just like lower grades, and unfortunately, you know, when you buy them from these sellers, they'll sell them to you as painted fire reds, high grade, and you'll pay a premium for them, and then when you get them, they're like not even, you know, sellers can't even tell, you know, what's red and what's not, to be honest. And that's just me doing my little complaints. But like I said, like mine's were really nice. Now look at this one here. This one's so crazy, like, you know, like those are the strains that I'm working with. Like I'm trying to get some nice ones, and these people here are selling me like lower grade ones and calling it painted fire, man. Come on. All right, so moving to the other side real quick. We got the Blue Dream, the original tank. There's a lot of them that I need to call, but this is going to be the main Blue Dream tank now, the main colony tank. So I had probably 2 different sellers that I also introduced in here to quarantine as well. On top of that, I was every week or so I was adding maybe like 5 to 10 shrimps from here, the blue ones, into this tank. And so this week we are adding a few more. So this is the ones that I was able to kind of scoop out. I didn't want to take all the blue ones in here and just kind of have crap ones in here. I mean, eventually I'm going to move everything in here, but I'm slowly just introducing them into the tank. So as you can see here, some of them also needs to be culled, but I won't do any culling in here until probably next year, just because I want to, again, some of these are from new sources, and I want to make sure that they're not going to carry any diseases or anything like that before I kind of mix them, right? I'm just kind of mixing them one way, and I'm not mixing them the other way yet. So we have some extra here. So these guys are going in. So let me go ahead and add these guys into the tank. Actually, I gotta be careful because we have some duckweed, and I do not want to introduce duckweed into a system like this where it's going to take off. So give me a second. All right, so I'm adding this all one-handed here. So there we go. We got the shrimp all added in. Boom, boom. They're added in. Made a pile of food over here, hoping that we can kind of get them over here to eat, and they are eating, so that's great. As you can see, all the ones in the middle here, I would probably end up eventually taking out, like a lot of these little nicer ones over here. I'll keep these guys, right? Some of the darker ones, depending on how dark they are, we'll probably keep some of them, probably kind of move, you know, the super black ones away from this tank. I kind of want to have a nice like blue shimmer to it. So a lot of these in here, I would say is keeper, like keep, and then like these other ones here are probably called out guy there, one back there. But a lot of these, again, the lower grade ones are probably going to be males, and I can kind of see one female that probably needs to be called. But other than that, things are looking decent in the tank. You know, plants are doing okay. You know, we're taking this nice and slow for this tank. It's going to take some time for this to kind of take off, right? Still fairly new, so yeah. All right, so finally it looks like some of the red guys are wanting to come out here and start eating and showing off kind of what we're working with. But yeah, if you guys aren't subscribed yet, make sure you subscribe, and like always, next one guys, peace.